Thank you. Thank you. The Senate Committee on Internal Affairs, the members will now begin to introduce themselves, starting from the pilot.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Joseph Olako Pato Jala, President of the Parliament.
Yes.
My name is James Brown. I'm a working member of this committee.
My name is Siafa.
First thing, as the board example, Senator Riverino.
Senator Prince K. Boy of Moncton, member of the committee.
Senator Henry Snow, Roman County Vice Chair of the committee.
And Senator Prince Johnson, Chairman of the Committee. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, members of the media, the nominee, I want to take this time to welcome you to this confirmation hearing of the Committee on Internal Affairs. You've been nominated by the President to take on the task and keep it with Senate procedure. Once you don't have a vote and you are not elected, you are subject to confirmation. So you have half the day for the confirmation. We expect you to say the truth as is stated in the vote, so that we will be able to hammer our decision. So those of our citizens in the gallery, please, we do not clap here. It's good cheering squad. We go outside, they do the cheering, but we don't clap here. And we just want to take this time. We want to recognize your wife, who has accompanied you. Traditionally, when nominees come here, we recognize the spouses to sit with them. So we're happy to see you here. We should work with the Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Nominee will now give you the opportunity to make your presentation.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and other members of the Senate. Thank you for inviting me to this confirmation. I'd like to thank the Almighty God first for His blessings. I would also like to thank His Excellency, President Joseph Boyka, for his preferment, nominating me to the position of mayor. Again, my name is John Cheruk. Siafa. I was born, raised, and schooled in Monrovia. I've been married for the past 18 years. I have 4 children. I'm equipped with over 20 years of experience in admin, business, and operations, with demonstrated ability to set up projects and achieve specific goals. I pledge my fullest cooperation to this honorable Senate in whatever endeavors we can jointly create to improve the lives of all Liberians, but most especially those living in Monrovia. Honorable Senators, you have my firm commitment. Honorable Senators, I am not under any illusion about the grave challenges faced by residents of the city of Monrovia and the monumental task that must be performed to improve the quality of life of this city, whose metropolitan population in 2024 is projected to be about 1.7 million. Urgent attention in the areas of sanitation, the rule of law, education, tourism, and infrastructure development are only some of the major challenges we must strive to address. As we all know, Monrovia is overwhelmed with an avalanche of uncollected garbage of the city streets, in the neighborhoods, open air markets, and even within the commercial districts. I come to the World Bank funded study done by PARI in 2024. There is 1,174 tons of garbage projected to be produced daily in Greater Monrovia alone. Yet, only 330 tons of those are collected out of 1,174. The city of Monrovia has 2 transfer stations for receiving solid waste. One of them is based at the Stockton Creek Bridge on Somana Drive, while the other is based in Sinton, Fairmont. Both facilities have serious challenges over the years and needs urgent rehabilitation. Additionally, the only existing landfill at Wayne Town, which was completed single and adjacent townships and boroughs. It may interest you to know that given the lack of service over the protracted period and the possible buildup of methane gas, which is a colorless gas that builds up in the garbage, on January 22nd of this year, there was a major fire outbreak at this facility, causing a serious threat to not only the facility itself, but the environment and the host community of Wayne Town. Thanks to the COS PRU, the National Fire Service, Ministry of Public Works, the Fire Service of LPRC, members of Wayne Town community, and some private companies that donated over 300,000 gallons of water, as well as the team of JNB-JKK volunteers, which I headed at the time as project coordinator. We were able to spend 7 days and nights coordinating resources and manpower to quench the fire, which is approximately at 90% still there. For several days while the fire was ongoing, garbage could not be moved into that facility. And even with the creation of an alternative cell, the residents prevented any such activity, expressing concerns for their safety that it must be addressed before operations can continue within their community. Now, in an effort to ultimately close Wayne Town and establish a new landfill, international donors and the GOL effected the Cheesemanburg Landfill Urban Sanitation Project in September 2017 for the construction of a new landfill in Cheesemanburg at a total cost of $23.6 million. The project was intended to spend 5 years, but it's been 7 years due to funding and implementation delays. As a result, a counterpart funding was established with the GOL annual commitment of $1.4 million to this clause project. Unfortunately, GOL could not support this between year 1 and year 2, and the project recommitted $750,000 to the sector, which was still not forthcoming until the last review of the project when GOL, through Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, recommitted to $1.5 million, which should have been reflected in the fiscal year 2023 budget. But then again, GOL could not honor this new commitment. Instead, she disbursed about $725,000 to the project since the beginning of last quarter in fiscal 2023, and there's still an outstanding of $765,000. This has heavily compounded the challenges within the solid waste sector. Furthermore, the class project that we're talking about is indebted to residents in the amount of $125,000 for the payment under the abbreviated Resettlement Action Plan. Additionally, there exists a GOL MCC liability in the amount of $2.56 million spent from the IDA by MCC over the period of the class project. This money, if not refunded between now and June, will be rendered or categorized by the World Bank as ineligible expenditure, and this could lead to the closure of that project, and we could lose the Cheesemanburg landfill. Financial sustainability remains a key challenge for the city, especially solid waste, the sector. The MCC continues to lack the financial tools for taxation and does not possess adequate or timely reliable municipal resources to further sustain itself, much less the solid waste management operations. Next to the donors, World Bank, EU, and others who continue to support the sector. But without increased budgetary support from the national government, the sector is not currently sustainable. Thus, the local government decentralization efforts by the GOL through the Local Government Act passed into law, which supports the implementation of fiscal decentralization, should be taken into serious consideration. Honorable Senators, in addition to the problems of solid waste disposal in the city, most of the central business district of Monrovia has become no-go zones after dark. Some parts have criminals looking for victims, and this depopulates the streets with a devastating effect on the economy in central Monrovia. Businesses close early, and this reduces the opportunities for job, increasing poverty among the city residents. Also, Monrovia residents in the coastal areas face environmental degradation due to the sea erosion and sometimes illegal activities from sand mining. A good number of residents each year lose their homes from coastal erosion. West Point, Libertown, and other coastal communities are victims. In addition to sea erosion, Monrovia wetlands, the mangroves, are being encroached on. This increases density, decreases space for decent living, and impacts the citizens negatively. As it stands today, the current total number of staff at the MCC is 1,486 persons. This represents a 67% increase over the last 6 years. The staff structure is largely informal and formal. The informal sector comprises of 559 staff members, constituting about 38%, while the formal sector stands about 62% with 927 staff members. It may be interesting to note, in the fiscal year 2023, the annual internal revenue collected by the city itself stood at a meager $930,450. This was a 65.4% shortfall of what they had projected as annual revenue, which should have been $2.693 million, $2,693,976 to be specific. And they fell short only $900,000 of that. This amount is not even enough to cover the annual external payroll of MCC, which is $2,824,038. And this $2.8 million comprises of only 973 members out of the 1,486 employees. There's another $500,000 needed to cover the internal payroll. Therefore, while we will try to develop strategies to increase revenue, there is a need for increased budgetary support. Honorable Senators, once I am confirmed by you as a leader, my overarching goal will be to improve not only the quality of life of the citizens of Monrovia, but also the infrastructure by designing much needed implemented result-oriented programs. His Excellency, the President, Joseph Nyumagwaka, over the last several weeks, has served as a coordinator alongside thousands of other people who made up of the JNB-JKK number of volunteers. These hard-working and gallant teams comprise of males, females. We work days and nights to remove mountains of garbage from the city's streets and neighborhoods, to provide a facelift for the city in advance of the inauguration of His Excellency President Walker and his Vice President, President Cheruk. We work mainly within the streets of Monrovia, Queensville, and Monrovia, but we also work parts of Marquette. We experienced felt the stench of garbage firsthand. We were even joined physically in cleaning activities by high-level members of the international community, led by the doyen of the diplomatic community and the coordinator, resident coordinator of the UN. Together as a team of volunteers, we successfully removed over 11.5 million kilograms of solid waste from these cities to the one-town facility within a period of only 2 months. This is a clear demonstration of what we can achieve together as a people if we unite around common causes at the community level. Honorable Senators, at this auspicious occasion, please allow me to offer my sincere thanks and appreciation to all of those many volunteers, the donors, the partners who made the JNB-JKK volunteer project a huge success, and whose support we still need to make a much needed impact. As we say in Liberia, your thank you. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, I have summarized some of the major challenges faced by the residents of Monrovia. Allow me please to attempt to outline in phases how I intend to approach this task. So within 100 days, once I'm confirmed by you, we first want to assess the institutional capacity of the MCC. We want to review the current systems, processes, and procedures, and the structure, with a view to strengthening the existing team. We also want to review the current projects, what of our current and what of our pending, so that we can improve delivery while accessing available opportunities for developing new ones. We want to engage with stakeholders, the donor community, the government, and the private sector. With the government, we want to go to them and ask for increased budgetary support. Yes, we have this $2.5 million also that we need to meet the World Bank and the donor community. We're going to be asking them to see if they can give us a waiver on the $2.56 million so that we can move ahead with the CLOS project. But then again, the Ministry of Finance needs to make payment of the $125,000 that is due the residents of Cheesemanburg, because only then this way, the fence and the access road leading to the Cheesemanburg landfill that should be able to succeed in town will be constructed. So the $125,000 is extremely important. We also want to talk to them to give an extension. This CLOS project ends in June 2024, so we have nearly 2 to 3 months to discuss it, or else we can lose it. We also want to do community engagement. Honorable Senators, change cannot be legislated. We cannot develop and roll out plans within which the residents has little or no information. Neither can we immediately start rigid enforcement of ordinances, many of which our residents have little or no knowledge. It is in this regard we will endeavor to engage our communities through a sustained information and behavior change campaign. We want them to share the vision. We also want to remove the backlog of solid waste all around. Fiamma, Stockton Creek, these are full to capacity. The cemeteries, we also need to fumigate these areas. Then we need to deploy trash bins. We need to increase the number of collection points around the city so people clearly know where they can actually take waste and see if we can reduce the waste that lies all around. We also want to establish a joint task force through the establishment of partnerships with relevant parties such as the Nigerian Business Association, the Nigerian Marketing Association, Motorcycle Union, Public Works, Ministry of Health, the DEA, because there are a lot of pressing things like the proliferation of makeshift penetrators in the city main street, the construction of permanent structures in the alleyways and sidewalks and major drainages of the city sewage, the sale and public use of alcohol by children under the ages of 18, the use of children as peddlers in between cars in the main streets, poor and unhealthy sanitary conditions within some restaurants and entertainment centers, and the proliferation of motorcycles and tricycles without the appropriate safety gears. Apart from that, within 100 days, we are proposing a national stakeholder conference on sanitation. Alongside the relevant stakeholder, we want to bring everybody within the waste management, the national waste management sector, so we can talk about a waste management strategy. We can consummate one that will take into consideration the entire value chain, because we want to convert waste to wealth. At the end of the 100 days, we want to develop a 5-year strategic plan so that we can align MCC's target with the central government national development plan with the goal of job creation, infrastructure development, promoting gender equality, as well as youth empowerment and inclusion as it relates to the arrest policy framework. Honorable Senators, once the 100 days is complete, within the 100-day plan, we will now try to see within the strategic plan how we can look at reforms and upgrades to the police, possibly looking at the fire service for the MCC itself, especially with fires all around the carriage, continuous institutional capacity, increase of revenue, seeking public-private partnerships for potential development and so on. Honorable Senators, thank you for your time. May God bless us all.
Thank you, nominee. Your presentation will be followed. Our questions from the distinguished senators, starting from flag right.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Okay. I have a few simple questions. I have a few simple questions which you could run through just for clarity and show of competence. Number one, I went through your resume. For some reason, I don't see bio here. Is it deliberate or it was an oversight?
Maybe it was an oversight. Maybe an oversight.
Can I have a bio there?
Yeah, I was born on November 18, 1976. I was born
Excuse
here.
me, nominee. It's there, it's there. Everything is
Just go
it's
at the
there.
back.
The passport, the pocket, that's there.
Oh, you should, I should go to a passport?
Yeah.
Just bounce it up. No, you ask for.
The attachment, that resume.
All right,
That's
go
not a resume.
ahead, go ahead.
So,
I was born at the Old Maternity Center in Monrovia.
thank you, sir. My second simple question is, there is a company, whether it's a frontier or officials of the city authority or not, that just go and tow people car in the street. If you're driving and you park by the city hall, you just stop and talk to somebody without really knowing that you're not supposed to park there. Before you come from there, the car will be on the front corner. But by that way, if you say, now give 5 minutes allowance while he will come back or ask who is this person or give you a warning. Okay, so you threw someone in the car yesterday in Parktown, you know, the bar rice where all the cars have to park the people the rice. The rice, everything is full in the car, they throw the car. So, it may not be a question, but I want you to look into this and see whether it can be a civilized organization, you know, that will have some notice, or even when they throw your car, you go there, you explain to them, and they're happy to listen to you, and understand that you insist that you pay $150. That's the minimum fees. Someone who walks in, who has a car, maybe a driver, in a veterinary park, his bus car, or a taxi driver, you want to pay $150, they will let the car, you tow it. And then if you told him to move the car, he refuses. Then you can tow the car. Because even in America, the police or the city authority warn us, or when they either give you a ticket or the warning. So I would like you to take this particular operation of the city government of Monrovia very serious if you can. So that when we call you in the future, you can speak freely and clearly. Today is not a question, monetary question to respond to. You know, but if you have any information you want to share from, but it's not monetary, but we need to take it as one of those concerns. That a client called me, I represent people that calls all the time. Then when somebody called me, besides my own guy, be told when I was working with the central bank, I didn't pay because we have contract with them. I just said that they should not pay them for that month to release my car. So they get release my car, they pay. If I have authority. But this man went to buy rice, they rice everything in the car, they tow the car. Yesterday. There's food in the car. So you can look into it and swear there can be a better way to deal with citizens on that. That's my second concern. The third one will be, what is your city boundary? From where to where? Or it will be another very broad. Can go to Queensway and go to Monrovia to do city corporation. What is your limit on your jurisdiction? This is we need to answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Senator. There needs to be clarity when it comes to the delineation of the city boundary. It needs to be something that we intend to consult with the Ministry of Internal Affairs because there's been, this is something that we are going to look into and we're going to be able to come up after then, after we consulted with them and all of the relevant authorities. I can assure you the aim is to work with adjacent townships and boroughs and not to overpower them.
Okay. So with that assurance, I will believe that when you come in the future, that we part of opening the company that throwing people car and charging them $150 for our hearing. And then the...
Use your mic, please.
Huh?
Your mic. You want to use your mic?
Oh, sorry, sir. I think that this item and the other item will form part of the information to the Senate should be invited in the future for any other reason regarding the limit, city limit. Because they got Monrovia, so they got Greater Monrovia. But I will leave that for you and the internal affairs to harmonize. That would be great. Okay, so you. I can say you are from Monrovia, I will support you. Everybody born in Monrovia. You know, or both were born in Monrovia, but they have business. They are currently from somewhere and have them here.
How far low for you? From the normal bell or the kissy bell?
I'm from Monrovia.
I say he.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. I can't say anything more about that. Then you were directly on local citizen of South Africa. He was supposed
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Vice Chairman. Again, my name is Bill Brown, the Vice Chairman of this committee. Let me say congratulations for your referral by the President to serve the city of Monrovia as mayor. And let me say thank you for the work you did, you and your team, before the inauguration. And then, Mr. Chairman, let me inform this committee that a few days ago, the nominee team brought in the capital here to assist with some cleaning. But I have some questions around that, those two services in London. The first, before the inauguration, the work you did that work on you the nomination by the President?
Well, Mr. Senator, I would not say that for a fact, because I'm sure the President's within his prerogative points, so I cannot see that for a fact.
Okay. Then you came here a few days ago doing some work out in Afghanistan. Is there any anticipation that will confirm it?
Certainly not, Mrs. Honorable Senator. You know, a number of volunteers, you know, a number of Liberians, actually something phenomenal was happening, have offered their services voluntarily to clean up many parts of Monrovia and Liberia. It may interest you to know that we took up this project to give the city a facelift for the inauguration. But even after the inauguration, the citizens continue. I think they're interested in seeing a much cleaner environment. That puts the responsibility on us. And it is in that vein that we've reached out to a number of businesses, including here,
So I take it that if you are confirmed that you will continue to come at this time. Thank you. I listened to your challenges and your plans, if confirmed. Those are brilliant. And I do not envy you for the kind of challenges you are faced, that you will face with. But again, I got some relief when I listened to your plans, how you intend to take on these challenges, especially your plans for the first 100 days. I didn't hear much about your own, you gave one of the challenges that the team that you are succeeding could not raise its own internal budget. And I did not hear much from you how you intend to mobilize resources internally. So you care to comment a little on how you intend to mobilize internal revenue for the city corporation, if confirmed, so that, because I'm sure you're aware, you may have your own internal revenue, from the national budget, and some from underlying donors. Let's hear your plans for your own internal revenue.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Increasing revenue streams will take some time. First, once we assess the institutional capacity, the capacity of the institution, we have to identify a number of them. Within the city ordinances, there are provisions for revenue to be collected through a number of ways. After reviewing it, we will attempt to take advantage of some that are practical and see how we can increase the revenue. We'll also have to put in some internal controls to ensure that if there is any leakages that causes the shortfalls in the revenue, we can see how we can improve on it. For example, the codes, the ordinances provides, for example, that real estate tax within the city be collected by the city. This is now collected by LRA. Over the long term, when there's a devolution of power based on the new act,
Right.
it is our hope that the city by then will have developed the capacity to be able to go into these forms of taxations. There are even provisions within the ordinances that allows the city to even offer levy taxes on sales. But then again, there's already a 2% advanced corporate income tax. We don't want to overburden, taxpayers in these economies. So that's a conversation that has to go on. It's going to be for the long term. So over the short term, while talking to the Ministry of Finance to see what support we can have, and while looking at how we can, mitigate losses and the small fees that we can go after, that will be our initial approach.
So it brings me to the point that my colleague, Senator Yala, talked about why he wanted to know the way to define Monrovia. What is Monrovia? That's another point. So your answer to him and your response to the internal revenue tells us that we have to define what is Monrovia.
We must.
So that you will not overlap with other entities of government like this.
Right.
This is the main visitor corporation. So let me come to one important thing. During the inauguration, before the inauguration, you mobilized a lot of people who helped to clean the city of Monrovia against the violence.
Right.
Their services, through their services, expectations were raised. My question is, how do you intend to mitigate or to meet these expectations? How do you intend to do that? Yes, and some of them are here. Some of them even have come to witness your hearing. What have you promised them?
Honorable Senator, first of all, the services rendered during pre-inauguration period was a voluntary service. Yes, you are quite correct. People have expectations. But just to be clear, there are absolutely no promises made. Notwithstanding, we want to work together with communities. Even before being nominated to this position, we have a number of stakeholders engagement with people like the UN, the UNDP, and we've been talking and discussing how is it, they have the program that they said that is running in Kidman and other parts, how we can work with communities and empower communities. So yes, we must be able to, because without the community involvement, the issue of the solid waste management or the entire waste management, it's not going to move very far. So we're looking to see if we can develop the necessary projects that can be supported so that we can have these people on. And I tell you, we developed a family working with those people, hard working. You can see them still all around. So in time, yes, it is on my mind, as a human as well. I have a commitment to see how we can have a structure to accommodate these people in some way, not everyone, but over a gradual period. What can be done? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I mean, it's a valid point. It's something that, because when I saw the citizens during that period, I said, wow, I mean, so a lot of efforts have to be put into resource mobilization. Obviously, it may not be all of them be placed on payrolls, but we have to think out of the bag to see how we can somehow meet some of the needs of the people who have come out to support you, and then you have a payroll that is already loaded,
Right.
that can accommodate them. So you're going to stop what to do. You have to really think out of the bag to see how we all can find some remedies.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you very much. Let me reserve that one first.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Nominee. Let me join my colleagues to say thank you for the work you did at leading Liberians during the transition period, not rescue period, during the transition period to keep our city clean. I don't envy you for this position because I know the huge tax ahead. But listening to you, I think I'm getting a little bit relaxed. But I wanted to find out, I heard you talk about PPP, public-private partnership into this, especially when you mention transforming waste to wealth. I just wanted you to say more about that. How do you intend to implement that? Because that's a key area, especially with the challenges that we have found.
Thank you, Madam Senator. Well, the idea of public-private partnerships will be a long-term goal. There must be opportunities that the city can tap into with private investors to keep it going if we have to increase revenue. And part of what we're going to do when we get a project unit at that city hall will be to see how we can develop these programs and whatever projects, whatever opportunities. But when it comes to waste management, you see currently the waste management sector has what you call CBEs, community-based enterprises. They go from homes to collect waste. And then you have the SBEs, small business enterprises, they go to businesses. In the long run, we have to expand those vertically and horizontally. We have to work with them. At the moment, there are only a few people. They cover such a small area. There's been a number of programs that have incentivized and sponsored them. Some have had loans because those are Liberians, small Liberian entrepreneurs. We have to find ways to work with the community, and make them truly community-based so that we take, a certain part. And this is one reason why we feel it is very important to have this stakeholders conference in sanitation. I'll tell you today, so for example, today, you have, first thing, we need to have a policy on waste management. You have the CBEs today, they are going to your home, for example, you're a senator, and they say, okay, Madam Senator, pay us $10 a month, and we will take your waste every month. But then because of lack of enforcement of our zoning laws, there's a zinc home right next to you. So you can afford to pay the $10, he or she can't. So what does he do? At night, he snucks into the dark, and wherever it's convenient, he throws his garbage. It's your community. Now, do we have a policy that sets the price for zinc shops or for residents upstairs or for people in fence? I'm not aware if we do. If we have something that takes this into consideration that, based on the economic position, yes, we want people to pay for waste, but we also have to take into consideration the economic reality. Secondly, how can we work with communities and empower them? Because without working with the community, one of the reasons why we got this volunteer project with some good success is because, it's not because of me, it's because they, as a community, they bought into a vision and they ran with it. So we want to use that kind of approach when we get everybody. You have the technicians, you have the donors,
You have even members of the house, because sometimes we've done some background. We don't want to be doing the work and say, oh, those are my people. Don't get. So we want everyone to come together. We have to come up with something that will be practical, and that can cut across. So, for example, again today, the price is rice is set across the country, right? So you have several depots, all petroleum, right? You have several petroleum stations. They set the price, so it's controlled. Could we do the same for waste in the long run? But for now, the focus is cleaning the backlog, making sure all of these, and then subsequently we'll go to all of those in the end. Thank you.
Thank you. So that is very important, because in order to keep our communities clean, we have to have those kind of CBDs that you mentioned. We are in communities where sometimes when we raise issues, people become very angry, start attacking and things. Buildings, and they don't remove them, they are there, nobody comes there to ask them questions. And you as a community person, when you approach them, it becomes a conflict. So do you plan getting back to that? Because we don't see sanitary inspectors anymore in our communities. How do we intend to reintroduce them?
So thank you, Madam Senator. It is a valid point, and yes, we are. You see, a lot of what we want to do will be to work with the community, because here's the thing. If I decide and hire inspectors from City Hall, yes, there will be an inspection department, and I'm asking them to go to your community. So let's say, for example, we say, you know what, as a community, we've identified this as our dumper. And we say, every house in this community will pay $10. And you've got 10 homes. And we say, out of this community, we want 10 persons working here. This $10, we'll split this $10, this $100 with the people that are working from the community. And we'll give a portion to the City Hall that comes to pick up the waste, or the CBD, whoever comes to take the waste. And then out of that home, a person comes. If I send an inspector from City Hall, there's no way they can know which one of the homes hasn't paid. Can't go on without a community. If the community is incentivized to a certain extent, the community can say, hey, Madam Senator, over the period, we've had 8 persons coming here to this dump, we recorded them. They paid their dues when we go there, but you haven't paid. Or you put in your waste. But these are just thoughts out of the box. There has to be a way to get this done with more of the community. And that's why it's important to have a sustained behavior change and awareness campaign. We must invest into it, hoping it will reduce, and then while we get into this. So yes, there will be inspectors for specifics, restaurants and whatever. When it comes to community, it should be more of a community engagement. It will take some time, but yes, we need to put the plans into motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
And I want to say, ordinance that you mentioned, do you have to culture implemented to the fullest? Because I know there are some do's and don'ts. And sometimes people just stand blind eye, everybody just flow and do what they want to do.
Senator, I assure you, I always tell, I was talking to someone the other day, I was saying this, oh, you hit the ground, start trading this, that, and so like, look, the laws are not meant to improve the hardship on the people. It's there to guide. Yes, there are ordinances, but with reasonable discretion, after engagement, yes, we'll enforce it. We will do what we can sufficiently. I intend to go into this as a partnership. For example, you have all these business people on the streets, you gotta say, oh, move. But I think we have other partners, the Liberian Marketing Association, the Liberian Business Association. There are other key partners. Well, I think we need to work together. It has to be a teamwork. So when we start to effect some things, it's not just the city, it's the team. So, yes, when it gets at that point, after we've, demonstrated that we've reached out, enforcement will be the last resort. Thank you, Honorable Senator.
Thank you. Lastly, I wanted to find out what is your thoughts about the use of plastic, which contribute largely to the increased waste, because it doesn't decay easily, and their cities are now moving to move to developing a green city and using organic sources instead of plastic?
Well, Honorable Senator, thank you. You've provided the answer. We're in a global village, and yes, we must move to organic sources over the long run. You know, so it is a ground approach. You see, again, this is why the conference, we all need to get together and talk about this and bring everybody on board, because today there's solid waste, a lot of solid waste, but there is the waste management sector that takes into consideration not only solid waste, you have liquid waste, you have medical waste. There's a lot that needs to be taken into consideration, and the policy has to guide this. So I think there will be long-term goals if the team at that time decides that we must gradually move away from plastic, which is the trend of the world today, and move more towards organic sources of packaging. Yes, that is what it's going to be. And I agree with you. Plastic does not degrade easily. And yes, why doing this cleaning in the 2.5 months, we experienced that most of the waste, especially within the Central Monrovia district, are plastic. You know, but again, what we can do for a start, if we start to put in the entire value chain, we move towards recycling. You know, sorting these garbages at source, where people can separate the waste through education and maybe through incentivizing this. If you bring certain number of plastics, you pay for it this amount. Hopefully we can start to mitigate this issue even before the necessary legislations come in to say, hey, plastic importation will reduce by this percentage, or it will be banned in this city, so on and so forth. So yes, thank you, Honorable Senator.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Again, Senator Prince Moore on County. So the nominee, I mean, you don't have to take years to know an individual. For the few months I interacted with you, I clearly understand that you are a goal-getter. And you always find a solution to difficult. You always find a solution to complicated situations. And Siafa, as I always call you when I'm in my tough mood, the softness of your tone and the way you approach gives me so much comfort that I can even go beyond. Knowing that characteristic of you, knowing that characteristic of you, I just want to ask you, what are you going to do to demilitarize the Monrovia City Police, to depoliticize the operation of the City Hall? All of us here will be aware, we are all aware of the past almost 6 years, with so many press conferences. You are now reacting to something that the city police did outside there. You are speaking about politics. What will you do to rebrand the image of the Monrovia City Hall as a mayor destiny, so that you reclaim your institution position in the maintenance and cleanliness of our great city? What are you going to do?
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Thank you for the compliments, and appreciate all of the time, working together and working, for you. That's a very, very important question, and yes, it is a valid concern from not only you, I must say. There's so many people out there that have expressed this concern. When it comes to the entire institution, we want to go in there and put a change management team together. It's not going to be just me. I always say when I work with a team, yes, I may be first among equals, but we want to be able to put a team together to get the, and that's why I said the first thing is assessing the institutional capacity. And this will be done based on the goals and seeing who is fit to do what. You know, how long you've been there, what is your progress. There has to be performance reviews, you know, KPIs needs to be set. I come from a background, from non-political as an administrator. We forecast budgets against revenue. You know, today you have 2.6 million forecast, you make 900,000, and you have a payroll, that's 300,000, from the corporate world, no. So we have to drive, push people to perform. But when it comes to the securities, we'll have to engage the necessary experts. This is not something I want to go in there and point, and say this you are appointed and this is not. No, I would not pretend to be a security personnel with all of the experience. I would prefer if we reach out to the experts and they constitute maybe a reform committee and they take a look, because we want to have public confidence at all levels in the security. We don't want a police that people run from. You want a police that people run to and say, sir, how? I need some directions, I need some help. And the only way this can be done, a public reform, in my personal opinion, something that the public is aware, there is a process, there is something that characterizes, some change, some investment, and the outcomes, So we will have to speak with the necessary experts and seek help from stakeholders who are concerned to see if they can assist us to get this done. This is not something we're going to do just as an individual. I assure you, Honorable Senator. Thank you.
My next question: have you looked at the past budget of the City Council and what was appropriated by the legislature?
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Thank you for bringing this out. This is a very, very important aspect. Yes, I have. So before me, I am looking at the appropriation in the fiscal year 2023. That was a 4.6 million appropriation. But there's a 4.1 million outturned. But interestingly, 70% of this amount is only for employees. And it's important to note that these employees are not part of a supplementary payroll. You have, for example, 2.8 million that represents the fiscal year 2023. Then you have only $168,454 for use of goods and services. Very unrealistic. But then, when you look at the budget's performance reports in the end, 168,000 budgeted, but 1.4 million was used. I can't even quantify that in percentage. How much increase? How do you set 168,000, but in the end, 1.4 million is being used?
Okay, so you didn't come for budget hearing. Just through that, to inform the public that this legislature has never reneged on supporting major institutions that are people-driven in terms of the benefit that that institution will run. So it is good that you said it. Millions of dollars have gone to the city corporation, to the Monrovia City Corporation, over the years. Millions of dollars. And to see it the way it is right now, with all what you have just stated, it leads us to believe that, we just have to say, thanks be to God that we are here, because nothing is going to change. So with that, I will show you the similar support, or even more, will be provided if we are confirmed. Because I know exactly what you stand for. I've worked with you. And Siafa, don't say it because you are before us. To say those that are working, those volunteers, I are coming because they want to help. That's one aspect. But your interpersonal relationship, it never shut down the food. Even if you didn't have it, you accept a call and say, look, we can do this, we can find this. That's the work of a very sound administrator. So I know the volunteers are out there. They are not there because they are paid. They are not there because they just want to volunteer. But somebody is leading them, like encouraging them to do what they are doing, putting their hands in the drainages, in the sewer lines, and picking up all the stuff. You must have somebody motivating them to do what they are doing. So my commitment and the commitment of the Senate that we have always done to support the Monrovia City Corporation. We didn't politicize it. I was a co-chair on Ways and Means. I didn't stop any institutional support across government because I felt by supporting those different institutions, if they have managed, or what the support that we give are managed properly, who are those that are going to benefit? The Liberians. It will not be ALP, it will not be CDC, it will not be UP, it will be Liberians that will benefit from those services that will be provided. So I've always stood for supporting institutions that will in turn work for the Liberian people. So as you have confirmed by the Senate, you will have similar support or even more, because there will be no need for anybody to justify why we should not give you support. If we did it and we didn't see anything, and we're going to be doing it and seeing real action, even in the compound that we sit in, it means that we have somebody that we can rely on. So Mr. Chairman and co-chair and distinguished senators, I want to say thanks to His Excellency Joseph Imam Boakai for this wonderful nomination. I should have been somewhere else, but I have to stay here to say this so that I'm on record. That if Siafa is going wrong, they will say, Boy, you did everything. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I don't have a question or endorsement. Just Cheruk Siafa. What's the outcome of your drug test?
Honorable Senator, I am here to do the drug test, and I assure you I will. And I will also ensure that every employee at the MCC does that. It is not on our agenda.
So you have failed to do it 2 weeks after the president and vice president did it. Any reason why?
Honorable Senator, this is not deliberate. I was of the opinion that we have to get confirmed before we start to get involved in certain aspects. But this is a misstep on my part. I assure you I will get it done within the coming days.
Do you have a copy of your asset declaration receipt to the LCC?
The asset declaration has not yet been done, but again, yes, it will be done over the next 30 days. Yes, it will be done once I'm done.
You know the whole budget of MCC, how many persons were employed, revenue, when you do drug tests, you do your asset declaration, what else you have done?
Sir, again, like I said, I was of the opinion that, after confirmation, then I would have to move into this. So forgive me if I didn't, but again, the law requires that I must declare my asset, and yes, I will declare those assets within the different time frame.
Can you give us one strong reason why we should not confirm it?
Well, I wouldn't say a reason why you should not confirm it. I am passionate about getting the job done at the moment. And like some other senators mentioned, yes, we want to work with the communities and we want to get certain results. So I cannot give you a reason why we should not confirm it. Had I had a pre-existing condition, maybe medical or something, I would say, okay, I would opt out. If I feel anywhere along the line, my abilities, anything that will impair my performance, I will definitely step aside.
The Monrovia City Corporation, or city government, was formed 25 years before the Declaration of Independence. 25 years, 1822. You are asking us to confirm you as mayor of the oldest city in Africa. You don't think you're too young for that job?
No, Mr. Senator. This is a job that, yes, there are challenges. But we are going to surround ourselves, again, it's teamwork. We have a clear vision, as we've attempted to outline. And yes, I'm sure you're aware that there's going to be a council that we will report to. And that council, through the wisdom of the president, I know will have, all of the relevant people that will guide us. So we're not going there alone, Honorable Senator. Thank you.
And you heard about the story of Chief Porter, Dr. Sawyer, wanting to be mayor of Monrovia. You know anything about that story? You gotta explain the story, just a yes or no.
Yeah, I'm aware Dr. Sawyer wanted to be mayor of the city.
So it's a big shoe in the world.
I am very aware.
And you know that it's not a weekly press conference.
Honorable Senator, to say that yes, and during the time that I managed the volunteers, I'm not this public show person. I like to work. I like to get my hands dirty, and I like to find solutions to problems. So I'm fully aware. We're out of time. I want to hit the ground running.
History tells us that in the 1900s, the only police force we knew in Liberia was the Monrovia City Police. Matter of fact, it was from the Monrovia City Police that came to the Liberia National Police. You would be commanding that police force. Are you prepared to give them the necessary dignity, not necessary, but the deserving dignity as city police of the city of Monrovia? It's not gangsters, police. Yes, you said that people can run to and not run from.
Yes, Honorable Senator, as mentioned earlier, yes, I am. This is a major concern. The Honorable Senator mentioned that, you mentioned it, and like I said, a number of citizens are very concerned. So it is a matter of must. We have to get the reforms in place.
You will be, if confirmed, your office is next door to the Executive Mansion, to the Capitol Building, to the Temple of Justice. Like the immediate past chairman stated, during this period we saw you coming here to help clean our yard. Is there any commitment that will continue that relationship if confirmed?
Yes, there is a commitment. There are conversations around that. We'll be speaking with the team here to see what we can put into place. Because, yes, we've started talking about what we may need. We look out there, and that was even before confirmation. And with several other places, there are certain logistics that needs to be put into place. Because garbage cleaning has to be a routine. So we will be working, your internal maintenance team will have to work alongside them so that we can get this done. There are some things that we would like you to do, and then we will also do our part. But you have our commitment. Yes, you do. Yes, sir.
Do you know that the mayor of Monrovia is one of the most powerful jobs in Nigeria?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
And that's the job you want?
Yes, sir.
You ready for this job?
I am, sir.
I've known you for many years now. Many years. And one of the things I admire of you the most is your service to humanity. An active member of the Lions Club. even though you didn't reference it, I see more of JFB, JJK album, work you've done for the Lions, which actually shows your character, the true character. Yes, sir. And you'll be coming to this position with passion. I can see it. I mean, I've dealt with you before in many instances. I know that I jokingly responded to my colleague when I said in all aspects, because you are a go-getter. Thank you, sir. Are you going to sit and cry to say no budget? So let Monrovia be inventive, or you want to be innovative. You want to find ways and means to mobilize resources, give donor confidence, give the confidence of the legislature where we can put money into the city corporation and depoliticize the city corporation and give us a clean and healthy. You know, when the former American ambassador said Monrovia is the most dangerous city, was it American or British? We're not talking about that. EU, yeah, EU. Well, it's true. Like my colleague from Cape Town just said, you driving behind cars, the person who drink the water, plastic bag, and then jumping in the street. I mean, look, I'm sorry to say this, and colleagues forgive me. You have my support. So I'm not asking you questions because I doubt your capacity to hold. I mean, when we vote for you, I will vote for you. I believe you'll make a good mayor. But I'm very concerned about what are you going to give this city in return of the confidence that will be giving you? Because our city is dirty. Monrovia is dirty. Monrovia is filthy. I mean, before we was poor, I walked somewhere on Cheruk Street that they have government toilet. There you have, you don't see the city for project to anything anywhere. No zoning law, no nothing. Can you show us that confirm and you give us a decent city and you will elevate and rebrand the position of city mayor so that we all can be proud of you as a young man, a friend, and member of our generation. Can you show us that?
Mr. Senator, as you just said, knowing over the years, that passion that always moved to get job done is the same passion. In fact, maybe even more that I'm bringing to this job. I am under no illusion about the enormous responsibility that is here and the challenges, under no illusion. And that is why I'm very, very determined to be able to deliver over time on these. At the moment, the sanitation issue is almost, you could say, a national emergency. Waste stockpile everywhere. And we have to innovate strategies. We must. The challenges of resources, lack of resources, or inadequate resources will always be there. One thing, will be very transparent as we go along so that the public is updated. They need to know. We will engage where we have challenges that we need to go beyond. But that wouldn't stop our commitment or our drive to get things done. And like I said, improving the quality of life of the citizens beyond the garbage, the infrastructure. There's a lot that has to be done. This is like you said, the oldest capital in Africa. So we don't have a downtown. We have none. You drive through the city, you don't have anywhere that is clearly identified that here, there's a demarcation. Like, we're proud of this spot. It has some sanity. This cannot continue. So, yes, one of the things is that you have to recognize all of that. And so, yes, we are going to do what we're going to do. We're going to do it, and I assure you, you will be proud. And we're going to do it together. I feel that there's a lot of goodwill we can get, to the city. From not only people like you, but there are key residents, influential residents, that are concerned. So we're not going to adopt a style of governance where we want to do it by ourselves. No, and here, I'm making an open appeal. Whether you're a donor or you're a prominent citizen, if you have an idea, bring it on board. There's a lot of people who approach me and say, oh, Mr. Siafa, X, Y, and Z, we have this idea. My phones are open, like Senator Moy said. I answer my phones, I take messages, I am very, very open to all ideas because I believe this is not a one man's job. We have to import the ideas of so many of us. And if possible, we have to work for some, I call teams, working teams. They come up and say, hey, we want to get this idea done. So one thing is I will be accessible, very accessible. I'll be in the office, I'll be out there with the guys, like I normally been doing to the company, because you have to be hands-on. There's a lot of things people have to see you doing. But yes, Mr. Honorable Senator, we will do our best, and even more.
Okay, my last question. When you drive through Single, you notice Care Street, let's say West Street, let's start on Care Street. Crosses from the seaside to the next side. 4th Street, 9th Street, 10th Street, 11th Street, or 12, 13, 14, it's not crossing. I don't know if you ever have done it. So you can drive from 9th Street, from the beach side, cross the Neal Boulevard, Tottenham Boulevard, and drive across. But when you start from 12, 13, 14, you cannot cross like that. You have an idea why?
Honorable Senator, I am not sure. I think we'll have to engage the Ministry of Public Works. And we'll also have to speak with the city planning and the zoning department to understand why those streets don't interconnect. I clearly understand what you mean. Naturally, the streets should interconnect. It should run parallel and vertically against each other. So yes, it is again a valid concern. I think that is a long-term problem. But
well, you can't solve that problem.
I don't want to say
something with a lawyer who's a Methodist herself.
I don't want to
but
say
what happened was President Tuckman gave that whole area to the Methodist Church. So he cut everywhere else except those areas that were affecting the Methodist Church. I'm saying this to say, if confirmed, don't be afraid to do your work. Don't say because the party chairman us here or the president playing here, so we can clear this area we are not paying. See when we come back on the road, see how the road curve? But when they making the road and the guests, they say, oh no, they want to cover funds. Say, okay, then they check the road so. They want to bread fund, they check the so. So you see those little curves on that road because they were afraid we go through the couples and the energies and this and all that kind of fun. So I wish you well. If confirmed, we look forward to seeing a clean city under your leadership as mayor of the city of Monrovia. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Co-chair, thank you so much. Mr. Nominee, the co-chair asked you to state why you should not be confronted. Can you say the part? Your narrative? And from what I've heard from my colleagues, distinguished Senator Boyd, he knows you many years, but that's what it's sort of. Mr. Snow, there are no doubt. I would have no doubt, because they won't lie to us. But leadership is by example. In the military, the commander that is, follow me, and they follow. They follow the leader's example. The president commanding in chief, whatever he says is a policy statement. He said he will fight drugs to the letter. He will eradicate drugs or maximally minimize drugs in the country. It's not possible to just get rid of it. To prove that he will fight drugs, one thing he followers to follow him. He and the vice president took the drug test. Meaning all of you, before you get nominated to come here, you must have your drug clearance. People criticize us here. We're not properly exercising our oversight responsibility. That's why many ministries operate the way they do, and things were wrong. What if I said to you now, we suspend everything until you bring your drug clearance before we decide whether you be confirmed or not confirmed? What would you say?
Honorable Chair, again, like I said, I'm committed to doing everything within the law. Yes, leadership by example is key. And yes, I will endeavor to do that, starting with the drug test. I myself, I will definitely get the drug test to you all in the coming days. It will not, this is something that can even happen as early as tomorrow.
Mr. Norman, you see, ours is to confirm or not to confirm.
Yes, sir.
When you are confirmed, you are through with you. You go to your job. So before you come to us, you must bring your drugs clearance and your assets declaration. You don't have it. So you're not even qualified to say before us. What would you say?
Sir, like I said earlier, I was of the opinion that, and maybe it's just a misstep, that I needed to get confirmed before moving out with certain duties. And I was of the opinion that there's a time frame to submit these required documents. So that was a misstep. Forgive me. I implore you to kindly forgive me. I'm also under obligation. This is a public hearing, Honorable Senator. And if I do not live up to my words, I start to lose public's trust. And I don't want that personally. So if I commit to you that within the coming week, you will have my drug test, and I will also get my assets declaration, to you over the next 2 weeks, I am very, very committed to do that. Because I'm here on record, I'm here in the public, and I have a reputation to protect, especially in this position, even in the name of my family. So I implore you to please forgive that. I will get it done on my reputation and my honor.
Mr. Nominee, just at the time you were born, in a few years after that, this city, Monrovia, was so beautiful, splendorous. Book painting looked so beautiful. Now, when you drive Broad Street, Center Street, those streets, all the houses now almost all have more so dirty. On Center Street, the National Cemetery, grass are grown up there, and Zogos are living in the grave. What will you do to bring back the old beauty of the city in the Center Street cemetery? And all over, apart from Monrovia, Queensville, those areas outside of Monrovia, where you have city mayors, the graves have all grown up with grass. Grass are grown all over there. On the decoration day, people go to clean. After that, they're so nasty. Will you also have meeting with all of the city mayors? We have a city mayor conference to discuss these things before you do. The houses, how dirty they are, the problem they are, the more growing, and some swing shots located in the public. I don't make the city look decent. Selling the street before the stores, all of those things. What will you do to bring back the old glory?
Honorable Senator, thank you for raising this, and for everybody else who has this concern. It only reinforces the call to get this job done even more urgently, because the concern is now coming from here, the first house. Public sentiments get in the way many times when people are about to take certain actions. And with this being a public hearing, it's indeed, I'm happy that the citizens, people around are listening. That even the senators are concerned about this. So when we start to act within the law, we have a good reliance. The ordinances provide for painting your building once a year, normally around December 15. But if it is in a bad condition, I believe within the discretion of the city, we can engage you and tell you, that you need to do something even before. And with regards to the cemetery, that concern is shared by so many people. In fact, there is now a private citizen who is a lawyer who has raised a petition. It's online. Antoinette see that. And she has a lot of people signing into that petition. There is a proposal to see how, there's a proposal, just a proposal that Symmetry can, a conversation on the possibilities of it being a memorial park, maybe relocation of it, and using that space for something, that would be more decent. So we have to have a long-term plan that we start to work towards. We will clean it up. Decoration Day is coming. We will partner with citizens. We will get it clean. But we must have a sustainable approach, something for the long term, because we can't clean, it comes back, clean, it comes back. So now that we have other citizens involved, it makes it even more feasible, in my opinion, to get it done. Very, very important. Regards to the city infrastructure, there's so much that has to be done before we even talk about the beautification. You have buildings on drainages, buildings in alleyways, very difficult even when there's a fire outbreak, so that it can be accessed. Again, like I mentioned earlier, this has to be done in the partnership with the relevant authorities, like the Ministry of Public Works. We have to work together with so many other people to get this done. I'm sure that they have plans. In fact, I have been speaking with the Minister Designated of Public Works. I'm not sure if he's confirmed at the time he was, if he is confirmed. And we've shared a similar vision. Similarly, I had a conversation with the Minister Designated, the MP Designated of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation. We're very concerned about those structures that are on top of the drainage. If you go at Benson Street, the water comes up. It's continuous, the sewage. In the back of that place they call World Trade Center, we actually visited. The structure is actually on the drainage. In fact, there are buildings that are built at the edge of the sidewalk. So you can't even use the sidewalk because the actual structure is sitting on the sidewalk. So this has to be a joint effort. And for a fact that we've recognized it, I'm sure we will build a team to address these issues gradually. But in the end, I think we share a vision that we want to have a city that looks much, much more better than we've met it. It's a personal desire. This is a legacy project.
Thank you. You mentioned that you were born in Monrovia, the old maternity center. What exactly, which country are you from?
I am from Lofa County. I am from Foya, Lofa County.
Which tribe?
I'm Kisi by tribe.
Now, who are you to the first family?
Well,
Either the president or the wife?
Again, the first family, as we know, Uncle Joe is an uncle to everybody. But I am, what should I say? I do know the first family very well, but I am not a biological relative of the first family.
When I nominations, it beats my imagination to discover the majority of the nominations were all located in one area. Similar thing we opposed the past government for. That's why we came to rescue our governance, include tribalism. See how many countries right now they are not part of the nomination. Every nomination I come in with majority is easy. You don't think this is on the tribalism?
Honorable Senator,
I know you qualify. Yeah, I know you qualify.
Honorable Senator, the president appoints within the purview of his discretion. I'm not sure the number of people that have been nominated. I have not checked the data, so I wouldn't say,
That's why I'm telling you, nominations come about at the discretion of Mr. President. It's the same thing Joshua did, President Joshua did here. We regionalize all key positions outside. And we oppose it and use as a campaign message to convince the people of Liberia this was wrong. Then we come and we start doing the same thing. That's not what I contributed my quota for. that's why we made NIMBA to support, to bring about victory. But they are, for example, Makidi, Bapolu, other counties. If you look, they are not, they don't have. So instead of uniting people, we will be doing the same thing for which we fought against the other government politically and remove them. I don't think that's the right way to do it, but I don't think you have the willpower to sit and say something different than what you just said. And the president holds the power to do. But whatever the president is responsible to do, you not always be right. It's a complete tribalism. If you check the number of nominees, the Kisi dominance, that's how they, it's not correct.
Please. I beg you in the back, please.
But that's how you being confirmed. That will be the discussion of the President. I'm just breaking this to tell you it's clear on record. Everywhere we went, we pushed against the nationally dismissed government that left because of what they were doing. And we cannot do that and come and do the same thing. And the reason I asked all the questions, the several corporations were go to one other country, and we were told that you use your money to clean the city. So they made a specific request for you. That's why I asked you, what is your relationship with the first but it's okay.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. Let me just say something, Honorable Senator, if I may. They enacted, can I say something?
You want to respond?
Oh, yes, I don't, okay, it's okay.
It's okay.
Right.
So, having asked all the questions, we ask the sergeant about to agree this news.
Chairman. Powerful chairman.
I